G'day everyone and welcome back to Terra Invicta. I'll make the introduction brief. New house rules will absolutely be in the description, and this should probably be the final episode where I'm trying to move through things pretty quickly, because I imagine most of you who've watched Terra Invicta before have probably seen the startup phase on Earth a couple of times, and what I want to get really into is that late 2020s phase where we start seeing action in space and where we start seeing serious conflict between the factions in a big way. That's all from me. There might be a little update for those who are fans of the Rogue Trader series. Don't worry, it's all good news and things like that. I'll put that at the end of the video. Otherwise, enjoy. So, what we're going in with this episode, in terms of new house rules. Firstly, this is the first episode. I put up a poll a couple of days ago, my time, where I asked for the first round of suggestions for additional house rules for the game, and I'm integrating the top-rated ones this time, and the rest will be going into the spreadsheet for potential rolling. And they are, firstly, every time an event pops up and there is an initiative option, which is usually shit, I have to take it, because what else would the initiative do? Secondly, apparently the members of the board of director of the initiative feel great affinity with the old East India Company of old, and so I have to take over the United Kingdom. I have to make the British Navy the most powerful navy in the world again, and I have to expand insofar as the game allows me to the old colonial borders, which I think means taking at the very least restore the Commonwealth. I assume I can eventually absorb the UK and all of its dominions into some broader federation, but for the moment we're going to need to crack the UK out of servant and protectorate control, bring it under control. Also, other nominations. There will be a performance review approach for councillors. I'm still trying to figure out how that will work, but some sort of system that means councillors can be fired if they do a bad job or otherwise fail some arbitrary goal. We're working on it. Speaking of which, one councillor has been renamed. The former Louis is now Gaius, and there is another name in the queue. Patrons, I'll put a little note up if you want to go in the queue for naming. I'm not sure whether I'll rename Roman or Pavel unless someone specifically requests they take them over, but we will do what we do. In terms of other rules, the main one that I'm integrating, one more that I'm integrating, which I thought was really, really cool. The multiple keys system. In order to fire a nuclear weapon, I require the approval of the board of directors. So, if at any point I want to fire a nuke, that's where I'll chop an episode, I'll go to a poll, and the poll will decide whether or not nuclear weapon use is authorized or whether I have to do it the hard way. So basically, my level of pain will be in your hands in that respect. Great, and then the rule I am integrating this turn is called We Are the 1%. We are the 1%, we are the rules of the initiative, and so what that means is we believe in trickle-down economics and a whole bunch of other things, and so no country may at any point have more than one investment pip in the welfare priority. So if you have six CPs, you can have one pip in one and nothing turned on. That's the best you can do, but you can't turn anything on. You can't do this. You can't do this. This is the best you can do. Okay, so that will be unfortunate because sometimes in this game solving wealth inequality, or at least keeping wealth inequality down below the most punishing levels, is actually a good gameplay choice. No, not for us. We can't do it. So those are the additional rules this episode. Let's go into core objectives. Obviously, we're colonizing space rapidly, but we're held back by the solar flare, which means we need more MC. We need it quickly. I have decided that the best approach, if you want me to take the UK and I need more MC, I need more CP cap, so we're bailing out of the USA. So we're going to start spamming priorities in order to disband as much of the US military as possible. I think I can only disband the units I control, but that's okay. That'll reduce the number of US navies from 6 to 3, which will give the UK more of a chance. And then we're going to disarm these 28 nukes, and then we're going to bail. We can't do this anymore. Rules say no. Rules say no. Spoils is good. We'll take the extra money before we leave the USA. It will give some money to the servants and the protectorate, but you know what? I'll deal. Fantastic. So we're going to start setting priority. It's going to take a lot of priority setting in order to actually get out. By the way, I know I chopped it off. I did in fact shoot that extra Hydra last turn. Eventually, once we get Hydrobiology and a few other things, we'll need to capture a Hydra. So you can bet we'll be leveling up Gaius to make sure his investigation is high enough to actually detain successfully. So we will disarm the US, we will bail. The other thing I'm doing is, and hopefully this won't cause a war with Humanity First, Roman is purging Humanity First's control of the legislature in the Baltic states because they have finished 3 out of 3 mission control, which means we can then unify the Baltics into Eurasia, which will save us some CP. And then we need to start securing our presence in some of these other states that will shortly be subject to claims thanks to restored Warsaw Pact in October, because there is MC to be had. If we look at Finland, it's got 2 completed. It will have another one completed by the time we're ready to act. Romania has 1 almost finished a second. Like, there is MC to be taken and absorbed, and I want it. Nom nom, nom nom mission control. And for those who aren't building mission control, say for example Georgia here, it'd be great to take Georgia, stabilize it. It's really cheap to hold. It's like 3.8 control points, and just set it on space program and leave it for 5 years until it's ready. Same with Kyrgyzstan. For some reason, Humanity First is investing in the mighty Kyrgyz military, but yeah, that shouldn't be a thing. All right, I'm going to start rolling time. Let's start disarming the US and get to it. So here we are. We'll start by disbanding the military. I think the Marine Corps has a long and proud history.
Mission complete.
But the Marines will not serve the alien lovers, and that's who's going to be in control once we exit the United States. So that should actually give the US access to a whole bunch of additional investment points.
We'll be ready for new
because it's no longer paying
soon.
upkeep on the Marine Corps or a significant fraction of the US Army. So there we go. The US is down to 23 warheads and 3 armies.
Our associates are now in charge.
Fantastic. Roman has taken over the Baltic states. Let's just build boost until it's ready to absorb. We'll absorb it next turn. This is manageable, and it's about to be even more manageable because we will consolidate those 12 points down. Might be back in the green soon. Then it's time to start targeting the UK. Alright, the Baltics are unified, and we have Hydrobiology. So let's see what the initiative has specifically to say about them. So far this looks like normal stuff. The Hydra have inverted knees. What we're seeing is not a knee, but an ankle. Leg anatomy is akin to that of a horse or a dog.
Perhaps there's an angle for our pharmaceutical division.
Thank you, Soren. The autopsy has revealed little of direct use. The biologists and other scientists on our payroll provided a long and frankly tedious report on the details of the anatomy, henceforth codename Hydra. Most of the information offers no opportunity for profit or strategic information, but one small detail has drawn our attention. The Hydra body appears to produce free-floating cells that in turn produce chemicals. Some of those chemicals are very similar to psychoactive drugs. If our findings are correct, they may have some connections to how the Hydra are capable of controlling their human servants. So, the Hydras appear to produce a type of cell dubbed pherocytes that can produce chemicals with psychoactive properties. This is currently our leading theory as to how they are able to influence humans so effectively. Research Hydra pherocytes. We need Hydrobiology or Coexistence Pact. We already have Hydrobiology. This is probably Protectorate shit over here. So we'll wait for that to pop. And in the meantime, I think I want Solid Core Fission 1. And I need interplanetary warships soon. I'm not sure about Alien. Alien Origin's important. I like to have one Xenology going at any given time, but I won't prioritize it. So we'll do this. So we're doing like that, and we're letting everyone else do Unity movements, which will be handy because I think Greater India and stuff is in here. But we're pushing settlement habs and orbitals. And with the completion of our first outpost mining complex on Mars, we are now super positive. So we should be able to quickly at least fire off the mines for our remaining Mars bases. We're running out of sites to reserve. As you can see, the real estate has filled up quickly, and what's left is not spectacular. Something like Tempo Terra, like that 3.3 nobles, like it's not going to really make a dent, although the 51 water here is respectable. So I'm going to reserve Argaea Planitia. It's interesting to see which factions are going to miss out on a spot on the moon. On Mars, rather. So unless Humanity First takes this, if HF takes this, they're self-sufficient. Like, this base will run positive on everything, except for fissiles. So let's now see if they actually do. Oh, critical success. Public campaign Britain. I'm happy with that. We're going to have to bail from the US as soon as we start trying to break into Britain, but that's okay. Alright, the movement has begun. We've cracked down on the trade unions in the UK. Roman's coming in to secure our first actual position, so we'll take over the British trade unions. At the same time, I'm rolling a 62% to start breaking into Romania. which is currently under protectorate control, to start the process of potentially integrating that. It's that and Finland that we really need to get into soon. Smoothing things over with Exodus will be annoying, but we can go into Romania and only piss off the protectorate, who we already just pissed off by cracking down their point in the UK. So doing good. More mines should come online soon. I should also check how many orbital slots are left around Earth. LEO2 has a lot of free real estate, so we might throw a couple more stations up there, just maybe one more just for the moment because our MC is still halved. But we could do with the assistance of all things, actually on the public campaign. So if we go to, we already have information sciences, we want social sciences, there we are, +1 strength of public campaign. And I believe, because these only take 3 energy, we can support 3 of them off a single one. So if we get a second one of these stations up there, and we should have tier 2 stations soon, but for the moment tier 1 works just fine. Yeah, we can start getting the interface bonuses up. I just like having the T1 stations up there because it means we don't have to offend people by stealing their shit later on.
Means they'll damn well have to work for it.
All right, so
Soren van Wyk during labor negotiations regarding diamond miners' families.
Always good to know that the basics are absolutely fully deductible and are on a subscription service. Good old humanity first, having finished biotechnology, having taken control of the biotechnology slot, straight into missile warfare doctrine. I'm actually okay with that because that's usually the easiest way to do an initial shoot down, especially if we're going to do our first shoot downs using chemical rocketry, which is what it looks like at the moment, depending on how soon we have to go. Alright, we've cracked down the UK Parliament. We're about to, I hope, take control of the mass media. Romania has ended its federation with the European Union. Okay, that doesn't... I was about to say, that doesn't worry. That worries me. I'm reckoning that's a Hydra. So we're going to have to divert Gaius off crackdown duty for 1 turn in order to ID that Hydra and hopefully put it in the dirt, because I don't want Hydras stuffing around running up alien abduction scores in the Eurasian Union. Ignore the 3 Eurasian armies on the border with Azerbaijan conspicuously close to the time that Azerbaijan will finish its 3rd and maximum mission control point. There is nothing to see there. For example, here is an example of the terrible initiative options I now have to pick. There is panic in New York City. Rumours about alien experiments on people have led to disrupt the government's ability to keep people safe. And normally we could try and calm the public or deploy our forces, but instead we can sell special curatives and weaponry to the public. That's right. We're just going to issue, I reckon we sell tanks to, we have a bunch of tanks. So we abolished, an army division and all the stuff from the Marines. That should all be left over. So we can just sell that to the people of New York to get 250 money and 50 influence. Cohesion in the US goes down by 2. Unrest in the US goes up by 1. The US now has 0 cohesion.
We've removed
Amazing.
Some
But we have taken control of the UK Parliament. So I think it is time to say adieu and farewell to the United States. I think losing 4 MC right now is okay because it's halved, so in a second I reckon I'm going to have to hit abandon on the US. What I will do before I go, however, is switch from... We don't want the people who aren't us getting the benefit of spoils, so you know what, we'll swap it to something useful like mission control, or the economy maybe. Yeah, look, that'll do. Maybe even books. Actually, yeah, books. Because books goes into the global science output. So we get some benefit from that. So we'll slap it all in knowledge because we don't want anyone else getting the advantage of spoils. Okay, with the US abandoned, we are way under our CP cap again. But that's okay. Hopefully we can fill it up with some sweet UK and Eastern European points.
Surveillance complete.
And then, there we are. Xenoform Alpha 5 ID'd. Found you bastard. So we know there are at least 6 xenoforms. It's currently scratched 2. That's photonic computing. We needed photonic computing to move towards counselor number 6, which is very important. But also important to get going is going to be space research. And space research is very important, as is industrialization of space. we're going to get space science, space research going, because we can do a lot with T2s around Mars, Luna, and Earth without having access to industrialization. Industrialization we're really going to need for Jupiter, Venus, Mercury, that kind of thing. Maybe Ceres if we go there, but no one's shot asteroids yet, so we're doing okay. I'm researching orbital core. That'll be done by the end of 2025, and we're going to shoot for pherocytes. Our research has just taken a bit of a hit because we did obviously drop out of the US, but that's okay. Hopefully India eventually picks up some slack once I can take it off mission control and put it back on books. Okay, we are off solar flare, so I have 42 MC now, which is fantastic. So I've just spammed a bunch of extra stations in orbit. I don't want to go overboard because I need MC to account for the fact that these mines will finish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So there's 14 extra. That'll take us to 38 plus. We then want to be able to upgrade some orbitals to T2s because they're more efficient than T1s, even if you're only using T1 research modules. So we're going to need more MC. We're going to need more MC. It goes quickly. You need to build it quickly. That said, I've got the UK building its next army, which we will need. We'll need to build at least 3 and then Miltech up. Is probably what we'll do, and then eventually we want to go to a 4th army once we can expand the UK's territory. Once we've taken the UK's executive, we need to get back into Romania, and then for Romania, Finland, get them on the course to absorption. Azerbaijan has 3 MC now, so I might even be able to set relations and just we won't do Alexander. Alexander expects other things, but
What's the op?
yeah, Pavel, instead of stabilizing India this turn, how about you just go to the Kremlin and discuss the virtues of peacekeeping operations in Azerbaijan. We need to supervise the space control facilities there. Okay, so Roman can take the 85% shot to put Alpha 5 down. We'll need to stop shooting them eventually, but I'm sure there are at least 6. We will have killed 3. So there will be plenty left to capture, and the fewer that are there doing alien bullshit missions, ultimately the better for everyone. We'll get a protect interest on the UK. The UK is now fully secure. Hurrah. We'll need to get out. This is so. I just wish I had more councillors, but we're supervising the space facilities. Turn the map over here, citizen. Nice. And this time it looks like it had salamander bodyguards, so we have recovered a salamander. These are the bodyguards that have been enslaved by the Hydra. A more effective shot trooper. Its kind do not perform this role entirely willingly. Interesting. And we can autopsy it, but I'm probably not going to immediately. Alright, so 3 things have happened, so I've hit record. Firstly, I read through some comments, and one of the patrons has requested that Roman be renamed, and so here he is. Prageny Yevgozhin is now our new kingpin, who is getting pretty dangerous at Espionage 22, which he will need in a moment, because Gaius has spotted Xenoform Alpha 4. We're also about to finish pherocytes, so let's roll the turn and see what happens. And here we are with pherocytes, so let's see what happens once the initiative discovers these things. Alright, increases our defenses.
It seems every alien comes with its own marketing department.
Huh. Okay, our suspicions have been confirmed. The alien pherocytes are the key to the Hydra ability to influence other species, miniature drug factories, release chemicals into the brain, function as biological mind control, near total control over the subject behavior, incapable of forcing them to act against their core beliefs or instincts. The advantage this gives the Hydra is obvious. Each Hydra functions as a living biological domination system. Okay, so there's no theoretical reason why it would be impossible for us to replicate Hydra pherocytes and employ their capabilities ourselves. Secondly, Hydra are not immune to their own pherocytes. While they appear to work differently on a Hydra subject as compared to a non-Hydra one, the same methods that allow Hydra to control humans could, in theory, allow us to control Hydras. However, much remains to be done before we can approach this step. Okay, this is a different... I was wondering where the initiative was going to take this, and here we are. To continue our research on Hydra pherocytes, the scientists in our employ require a live subject for study. This will require the construction of a specialized containment facility. Research Hydra containment. and we can also undertake means to an end project. Set our goals. Set our goals is always great. It increases capacity by 25. It gives you a super organization. So yeah, absolutely want to do means to an end. And then I don't think I can rush Hydra containment quick enough for Alpha 4 to be our prisoner, but I mean, that would be convenient. Like, highly convenient. But I have a feeling that we might need to put him in the dirt. Depends how long it takes for containment to pop up. And damn it, there it goes. The White House has been seized by the Protectorate. Alas, it took them many failed attempts, but they got there in the end. The only sources of reason in the USA are now the mass media and the corporations. All things in balance. 2 servant point, 2 initiative points, 2 protectorate points. Good luck, America. So we've reached the point where the servants have started to be the servants in a big way. The European Union has declared multiple wars, even though the European Union is really just Portugal and France at this point. They've declared war on Indonesia, on Bangladesh. I think the reason they keep doing it is they keep expecting the UK, who I'm technically allied to them. I can fix that. Like, I can de-ally the European Union. I can't? Oh no, I'm in the European Union. Okay. Alright, well, I'm not joining them in a war. That's not happening. The UK, which now has 2 armies, 3rd Division has now been deployed, and the US, they keep expecting them to join them, and neither of them do, because the Protectorate's not interested. I'm not interested. Meanwhile, Iran is controlled by the Resistance. They've developed nuclear weapons. They have 2 armies, so Iran stands strong as a force of resistance against the aliens, I guess. This is not where I was expecting the axis of resistance to go, but apparently it's resisting Hydra domination. Alright, well, it was going to take ages to get containment, and I wasn't going to do catch and release. Can't do catch and release, rather, and I wasn't going to ignore them and then try and find them later, because they were doing abductions in India, and that just couldn't stand. So, Pragani has put them in the ground. That is good. We'll just have to find another Hydra operative later. But I think we're in reasonable shape. We've started getting some T2 orbitals up. I'm researching Solar Array, the Tech 2 solar generator. That'll be done in 28 days. And then what I can do is I can build those HABs. Rather than going Tech 1 power and then having to rebuild it, drop some T2 power straight away, build out the labs. Life is good. Actually, I realized I could sort of relatively cheaply get them going without waiting for the T2 power. All the T2 power will let me do is make them more efficient by later on tacking on a T2 power array and replacing some of the Tech 1 power array with additional labs until we get Tech 2 labs to get more of those precious 30% interface bonuses. I've set it up so that we should have sufficient bonuses in Zoology, Information Sciences, Social Sciences, Military, Material, SPA, and in reality these Xeno locations are also doubling up as energy labs, so we should have all the key areas covered. And here we go, a means to an end. Where others see threat, we see only opportunity. There is no doubt that these aliens have access to resources and technologies we can only dream of. So our foremost goal must be the acquisition of such wonders for ourselves. Achieving this is far from simple, but after extensive strategizing, a path is clear. Though it is necessarily a somewhat indirect one. Our work has spun off a new organization, the Pherocyte Deployment Team, which is in our faction tool, may be assigned to a counselor.
Someone must lead humanity through this difficult time. No one has the talent, vision, or resources that we do.
This has been one of the most contentious and difficult decisions our board has ever faced, and the debates have been long and intense. The alien invasion is, paradoxically, the simpler of the 2 problems. The aliens clearly intend to conquer Earth and dominate humanity. Why they want this is a valid question, but ultimately a secondary one. This board is not willing to cede authority over our world. As such, we must come to understand the alien plans and stop them. Doing so will be difficult, if not impossible, but is also a secondary concern. It is what must be done, therefore we will devote all of our resources towards doing it. I kind of get that logic so far. But the more contentious issue is the problem of domestic discord. Multiple factions have coalesced in response to the alien arrival, and political maps around Earth are being redrawn along pro-alien versus anti-alien lines. To further complicate the matter, we have breakaway factions We have breakaway factions agitating for wildly incompatible goals such as peaceful coexistence and wholesale evacuation. Geez, I wonder who those two are. Clearly, should the population of Earth continue to fight amongst themselves, alien victory is assured. As such, our secondary objective, running in parallel to the first, must be to unite human governmental and private resources behind our council and broader organisation. In an ideal world, we would of course prefer to do this in a cooperative manner, but it seems highly unlikely that the various factions will recognise our authority. As such, it may be necessary to compel... I see where this is going, Soren. The alien methods of influence may be of assistance in this matter. We'll start on alien containment. Priority 2. Let's have a look at this team. Wow. Just wow. Where's Mallory? Okay, so pherocyte deployment team gives 5 admin, 5 investigation, 5 espionage, 15 persuasion, 2 ops income, 8 influence income, plus 20% unity, plus 10% spoils, plus 10% social science research, control nation purge, public campaign, and control space asset. That is incredible. It's incredible. Like, if we gave it to Gaius, we could rip one of the admin orgs off him, and he would be super investigation while also being mega high persuasion. But I think the correct move is to put the pherocyte deployment team on Mallory. We'll let the turn cycle rip this marketing organization off because she won't need it anymore. Unequip it, I'll have to sell one of my extras, that's fine. We'll sell one of the useless ones, like just that one. Cool. Then she'll be able to assign extra organizations because of all her extra admin cap. And then what we need to do is we need to go to Pregeni, pull Laguna Foundation, which is the turn counselor mission, pull that off him to give her turn counselor so she can roll turn counselor at 25. I'm going to do some shuffling and make that happen. This is going to be incredible. That's one of the best. The Executioners for Humanity First were my favorite up till now, and they're still incredibly good. They just let you just turn someone into an assassin who can gun down the Hydra, but that is... that's impressive. Okay, Mallory is geared up. She is a 25 persuasion counselor. And that means she has a 70% shot at just taking us straight into China.
Establishing our presence.
So that's what we're going to do.
Where do you need me?
We've got the CP cap to get maybe 1 and a bit points, maybe 2 points in China, but I see no reason not to get in there and start getting established. The alternative would be to start knocking people like Exodus out of Europe, but to be honest, they're putting a lot of their investment points into mission control, so we can always absorb it later. Yes, there is a cooldown, but I think getting started in China is worth it at this point. We've got a couple of slow burns running. Turkmenistan investing in mission control. Won't actually take them that long to get to their maximum. Then we can absorb them. That'll save us 10 points. Romania is all in on mission control. Won't take them too long. If we're willing to invest the allies, we can do the special referendum method. Otherwise, we can add them to... we would need to de-rival. It would take longer. So we might do the special referendum method in Romania as soon as we finish mission control, because that'll save us a desperately needed 24 CP. And the other one that's absolutely on the agenda is Finland, because they're going to complete their final mission control point at some point in the near future, and they've also left the European Union. So other than the allies thing, and removing allies is just a matter of consolidating the executive and then investing the influence, which we're going to have. So Mallory, straight into China. The others?
Standing by for orders.
Like, find me a servant's counselor. Or this guy. Find me this guy.
Surveilling target.
Where do you need
Because once we
me?
have enough intelligence on him, we can just
Ready.
flip him. I want a servant's counselor and a protectorate counselor flipped and working for us, so we have perfect intelligence. Sounds like a great idea. We are at threat level 3. That's fine. That should
What's
burn
the
down
op?
slowly. We'll try and knock out
Heading to the LZ.
that in China. We'll surveil location here to make that
On
attackable
Overwatch.
again.
I'm here.
But oh, that org is so good. Okay, future Perun here. One of the reasons this episode is so choppy is because I figured out too late that the audio was getting spikes and chops and cuts in places. Long story. Anyway, I've been chopping that out as I go, but there is a segment here that can't be salvaged, so I'm putting in a quick note. There's about 8 months in the segment, then the only thing that I'm really sad we lost is the capture of our first Hydra. And basically the technique here, and the only lesson I want to convey, is because it's a very dangerous activity, you can keep throwing your counselor into capture attempts to roll that 25, that 25, that 25. I think we got it on the third go. Just protect your counselor while they do so in order to limit the risk of death. When you have a super high success chance for assassinations, I sometimes play it fast and loose, but for the capture, where it's going to be a battle of attrition, even with good intelligence, I would recommend protecting counselor. Jump forward a lot for a status update because Terra Invicta is a very long game and I like to hit certain milestones every episode. And that means this episode has a fair way to go, but let's have a quick update. Firstly, the Eurasian Union has expanded. It now includes areas like Finland, and you may have noticed more of Central Asia has been brought in. Eurasian Union has 46 mission control, which is phenomenal. We have executive control in Poland, almost consolidated, which will then pull them out of the European Union. Poland is getting close to its maximum mission control allotment, which is, I believe, I want to say 8. Bulgaria down here will take a little bit longer to consolidate, but has hit its maximum mission control allotment of 3, so it will also be in line for consolidation, which will free up more CP for us to go and continue to expand in China. I just wanted to grab the extra MC concentrations while I could, because MC is absolutely vital. We have established double agents. A judge, the highest investigation character in the Protectorate, is working for us, and an activist working for the servants is also working for us. Mallory is freaky with the pherocyte deployment team, absolutely freaky, and it sort of brings home the difference of how the initiative approaches the early stages of tech development compared to everyone else. Humanity First was the quickest to figure out how to kill the Hydra effectively. The flavor text around their first assassination mission was the most decisive, and then the executioners are very, very good at it. The Academy was one of the first to figure out how to talk to the Hydra, to understand the Hydra. But no one has cottoned on to how to use pherocytes anywhere near as quickly as the initiative. They've just seen the mind control substance, and they've gone, yep, I want that. And they have been able to reproduce it incredibly quickly. So I can only assume that Big Pharma is on the side of the initiative, because that is a phenomenal achievement. It does make me feel a little bit bad that we're essentially deploying mind control agents as we take control of countries. But getting a handle on the Protectorate and the servants, very important. Another thing I've noticed, if we look at resources for a moment. When I previously played Terra Invicta, the AI was completely incapable of managing a space economy. Not a chance. Absolutely useless. Now, not so much. The resistance is positive on every resource except for volatiles, and is using 18 mission control with 10 boost income. Protectorate 13 boost income, 21 MC in space, 9.1 positive on everything except for fissiles. The Academy is positive on everything. Exodus is positive on everything except for a tiny, tiny fissiles deficit, which is perfectly manageable considering they have 28 boost income. Servants are positive on everything. Humanity First, positive on everything. CP counts are pretty good across the board. No one's caught up to me because I've done my objective, and that was a huge swing. The 25 from the technology plus the pherocyte deployment team, it's like a 40 extra CP swing from that one technology. It was huge. And then I grabbed corridor diplomacy after that to make it 50. So I've got a huge boost there. We have mission to the inner planets. We are working on quantum computing to work towards the 6th Counselor and directed space research. And like you need this line this quantum computing into direct research and that sort of thing line. We're also doing industrialization of space. It's a bit late, but that's okay. It does mean that we can't do the usual send a platform with a construction module, so we're going to take a little bit more time on Mercury. But I've also noticed the AI's already got every faction except for the servants already have one station in low Mercury orbit. So this is a lot more scramble for Mercury than I'm used to. Like a lot more scramble for Mercury than I'm used to. So I have noticed that it takes a lot of boost, which I presume comes down to the function of how much shielding you now need to send to Mercury. The other thing is, I'm pretty sure once I run the turn that I pissed off the aliens somehow, and I have a feeling they're about to bombard one of my bases. So it might be getting close to time to get alien technology mission. I shouldn't be over the hate cap, not at 59. It should be 0.6 times 6, so I should be way under the hate cap, and this indicates it as much too. So yeah, not sure what's going on there, but you know what, we'll take the hit if it happens. I've also brought the British military in to get ready to supervise the integration process of Poland. It's going to be a merger and acquisition. We're going to use a SPAC to merge Poland with the Eurasian Union, and then eventually one day we might absorb the Eurasian Union into the European Union. But for the moment, the servants aren't completely ruining it. So they are building more nuclear weapons, and military forces, which is not ideal. The UK now has 3 armies. I've got it permanently set to almost finish a second navy, but just don't want to spend the IC when we don't need it. And we're in 100% military at the moment, so we're at tech level 4.463 compared to the American 4.571. So the rule that we have to catch the US and build a more powerful British military than the US military, we're getting there. Not immediately, but we're getting there. We also want greater nations. Will be great because I want greater India, because Pakistan is now full of mission control. So really it's just taking up CP count, and it's time to absorb it into India. Yep, I think this might be it. This is an alien gunship. I'm not sure why it's in low lunar orbit if it's not to pick a fight with me. There we go. It's possible visitors did not expect humanity to leave the confines of our homeworld. It's equally possible that our rapid technological advancement is something they have encountered before in battles fought against other species on other worlds. They are clearly angered by humanity's presence in space, and we have been struck accordingly. Life according to the bosom of Earth is a fragile, hard-won thing. Thus the alien assault has had tragic, devastating consequences. For now, only one thing is certain: no human target is beyond their reach. Okay, so our bootstrap lunar base has taken some serious damage. It will likely be destroyed. Ah, man. Now, I don't actually think it's worth rebuilding the bootstrap base at this point. These resources are way worse than we'll get elsewhere. We'll keep mining the fizzles from the Lambert crater, but really what the aliens done here is they've helped us realize an economic saving. They've reached out as a sign of goodwill to improve our bottom line. And you know what? I can appreciate that. Thank you very much, Hydra. Bit of a strategy check-in here, because everything is happening at once, or at least it feels that way. The Eurasian Union's economy has expanded through its constant expansion. That makes sense. It's still mostly focused on mission control, but it does mean we are now over our CP limit. I'll be able to fix this eventually, but for the moment, we are going to be under tension, which is why I can't afford to have either China or India growing economically. India really, really wants more GDP per capita, so does Pakistan. I can't afford to give it to them. India is focused on education, China is focused on fixing the complete train wreck that the country currently is, and the UK is focused on becoming a military superpower because it will soon, I believe, relatively soon, overtake the US if it hasn't already. It doesn't have the navies, but 3 armies. Soon it will have 3 navies, and a higher tech score, at which point the UK should militarily be more powerful than the US. That's me. Let's take a step out for a moment. One thing I'm noticing about this patch compared to all the old ones is that everyone is progressing really, really well. By far, including the aliens, who I haven't even looked at, but their expansion pattern looks a lot better than it used to. The strongest human faction at the moment, by a significant margin, is the Protectorate. The Surrender Monkeys, the ones who want to give up. which I don't like. Other factions have more boost and so can expand faster. Exodus, the Academy, etc. But this positive space economy from the Protectorate, I don't like this. I don't like they have so many CP. This is a problem. But taking too many direct hostile actions against them is not ideal. The servants are way under their CP cap, which is a problem because it means the aliens can enthrall points to them. But for the moment, they are not as much of an issue. They have much less space income and space resource stockpile. They do have a lot of boost stockpile, but the Protectorate as a whole is just in a better position. So knocking them down a little bit is something I'm happy to do. In a moment, we'll get Hydra language. That'll be a good event. I've started optimizing my orbitals. They're not really optimized because you don't have level 2 research yet, but that's what we're really working towards. Once we hit directed space research, we can get the T2 research labs, and then all of my space infrastructure will suddenly start consolidating. I can't use research campuses the way I have in the past, because those now have a mission control cost, and I'm not paying one mission control for 60 research output. I'm just not doing it. It's not efficient. It's better to do some of the other things that we're going to be doing. I've started setting up places across the board. I'm going to have a lot of MC, but I've also pumped out our first vessel. This is the imposed merger of Fleet Noble 1, and what this ship does, it's a really basic design. It's a chemical rocket, no hull weapons, really basic array, no armor, with 2 advanced marine assault units. Why do we have 2 advanced marine assault units? Well, it's in orbit of Mars, it's got chemical rockets, but it doesn't need to go anywhere. All it needs to do is drop Marines down onto Mars, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the Protectorate's level 2 base that is producing a bunch of their resources, a lot of their output, we're going to take this away from them, and then we're going to sell it to someone else, because that's capitalism. That's a 100% profit margin. And that's the sort of profit margins we like. I've been trying to honor a sort of line go up mentality that a lot of people suggested in the comments, constantly increasing our income. It does fluctuate, but I've been trying to keep the line curving up, and this is the sort of trade opportunity that will allow us to sign one of the best trade deals in the history of trade deals. We could also grab the servants base and sell it, because now that the AI has a bunch of MC base and is better at building MC and boost, they can actually benefit from having bases transferred to them. So giving them over to someone like the Resistance or Humanity First might be in our best interests. Now, why would that be the case, you might ask? Well, because they're likely to attack the Servants and Protectorate anyway. In fact, I believe the Protectorate is in conflict with Humanity First and the Resistance, and the Servants are at war with both. The Resistance is also at war with me. I'm going to have to fix that. I'm not sure why on earth they would be at war with me. I haven't done anything hostile to them. That's going to be an expensive trade deal. I've been topping everyone up, but that's going to be an expensive trade deal. So maybe we start with Humanity First, because we'll get a better trade deal. And then hopefully they point their guns at the Servants. I have noticed the Servants attacking the Resistance a bunch, but I've also noticed the Protectorate and the Servants purging each other, which is fine by me. So that's the plan. Research Hydra language and directed space research. This will then allow us to significantly increase our research modifiers that are actually down at the moment because I'm rebuilding some infrastructure. Hydra language will let us advance the story a little bit, but what we really need is directed space research. Directed space research, we need quantum encryption for counselor number 6. And then after directed space research, what we need is eventually our space future and the level 3 habitations. We also need to grab arrival security, because arrival security will allow us to start getting the MC hate cap increasing technologies, and I'm going to want to be able to expand the amount of MC I have without going to full war with the Hydra, because you'll notice I have done basically nothing in any weapons. I have some ideas for some interesting house rules to use some underutilized technologies, but that's something to introduce next episode. For now, here is the core strategy. I'm going to research Hydra language and be back in a moment. There you go, we've captured the base.
Order is returning.
Stabilizing India. Hopefully blowing up some xenoflora. Yeah, Kieran's not happy with me, but you know what? It is a point of pride to be at war with you, good sir. I may be a soulless capitalist, but geez, mate. You're just the worst. Anyway, we've wiped out the flora. And we've got Hydra language. Most of this looks common before. An auditory aspect plus a pherocyte-based aspect. We can now proceed with a direct translation of the spoken element. It remains to be seen, however, how effective any communication will be without the chemosensory element.
We've exchanged simple communications with our alien subject.
Okay. A team of linguists and biologists have assembled an apparatus which they claim will allow for crude communication with our captive Hydra. The details are apparently scientifically interesting, but appear largely irrelevant. Look at how different that is from the Academy, who name the thing Rudy and then have a long discussion with it and learn a lot. Soren really doesn't care. But while the Academy is learning to understand the Hydra, the initiative is already duplicating pherocytes in 2027. Like I said, the power of Big Pharma. Apart from the detail that Hydra pherocytes also play a role in their own communications, this raises some intriguing possibilities. So now that we have the translation device, we're in a position to interrogate the captive. Particularly interested in their organizational structures, culture. We have, though our research teams will continue to access our captive, we have subcontracted the actual interrogation to specialists in the field. Research Hydra interrogation. All right, that'll do. All right, so the Protectorate's base was a little bit damaged, so I've done some rebuilding just so Humanity First doesn't do anything too stupid with it. I've power balanced it, put some research labs on it. I've added a farm over here just to give them a little less. That'll save them almost 9 water and 9 volatiles a month, which is a lot for them at their income levels. And I've slapped a settlement mining complex on it, which wouldn't be efficient for me. I don't want to pay the extra MC for it. It's less efficient than just spamming more level 1 mines, generally, unless you want the benefits of going to a T2 settlement. But for them, they have plenty of MC caps, so this will give them plenty of additional resource output once it finishes. So let's confirm the assignments and go have a talk to Mr. Castillo. See what he gives us for it. Yes, advise India. There's Hydra interrogation.
We'll
do
open
that
a
in a minute.
channel.
G'day, Hans. How you doing? What do you got for me? Ooh.
We will save the world.
Can I have Pulsar and Solid Core Fission 5? Just completely skipping... Because I haven't even got Nerva, which is the prerequisite for Pulsar. And I have got Solid Fission Core 1. Hey, do you want a HAB? Premium base, pre-owned. He said it's a fair trade. I actually don't want any of your boost. I tell you what, I'll take 5. It would be If I ask for Marine Company and give you Vipers, no, the AI values technology a lot. The only thing that saved me here is the fact they value bases even more. Alright, so I get 5 boost, improved relations, pulsar drive, and solid core fission 5 for a base I literally acquired for free. If anyone turns up saying they're the previous owner, just do what you do, Hans. Okay? Cheers. Love it. Alright, there we go. Solid core fission reactor 5. We'll add the pulsar drive. I'm not sure if we also need the research campus. I will check that, but otherwise pulsar should allow us to go advanced pulsar. So we'll have a middling early game drive, although I do want to score a kill with chemical rocketry. I do think investing too heavily in early space technology can be a bit of a trap, but we've gotten a heck of a bootstrap through the generosity of Colonel Castillo. Also a casual reminder that ever since the Protectorate took over the US, they have been invading people constantly, imposing new governments, basically unleashing the American military on anyone who isn't willing to surrender to the aliens. So basically the world is going to learn of their peaceful ways by force kind of bullshit. Lots of fun. Also, I've identified Xenoform Alpha 1, who's clearly been here since the beginning, but now we've got an ID on him. Gaius has managed to rack up some intel. So even though it will absolutely cause retaliation, because our MC is high enough that the hate cap is at 3 bars, I think we're going to put him in the dirt next turn, just so he's taken off the board, so to speak, even if it costs us a station that then has to be rebuilt. Alright, interesting. Apparently, we've been infiltrated. Someone is leaking our secrets. We discovered the leak by happenstance. A routine scan of outgoing communications concluded with the distracted analyst failing to correctly exit their monitoring program once the call had ended. Interesting. This would have been an immense waste of resources except for one thing. It found an unexpected signal. Hidden in the random noise was a highly compressed microburst transmission which was decrypted to reveal compromising details of recent operations. So we can ignore it, which is stupid, or we can offer money, pick in external help, or conduct an internal review. I think with things like this, you want to bring in someone external, just because you don't know how far up the chain it goes. Mallory, that was my suspicion.
Next mission.
I just investigated
Prepping
Mallory's
for next
loyalty,
mission.
and it's abysmal. It's
Prepping
dropped
for
to
next
8.
mission.
The reason I think is she has loss averse, so she's losing loyalty every time the aliens retaliate, and we lose people. So eventually I can cause her to lose this misapprehension with 20 experience, but until then, our faceman
ready
is just
for
going to have
new
to
orders
attach
soon.
to her like glue,
We'll be ready for
maintaining
new
her
orders
loyalty.
soon.
Everyone else should be fine. If my count is right, everyone else should be in the 20 plus range. But we cannot afford to have our tech mogul walk away like that. Which occurs to me, if this is actually tied to someone being compromised, it's probably her. We can fix that, by the way, with inspiration. So that might be what I do. And we've got more aliens in Europe. Guess we're hunting both at the same time? On the plus side,
Yet the truth
directed
is,
space
it will spawn
research.
new
And
fields
this
of
is the one
science,
that's going to give us
entirely
access to
new
all these
schools of
sweet,
thought.
sweet
They'll
level
all
2
be
research
so busy
labs.
fighting down here.
Oh, and
They
Great
won't
Nations
even
popped at the same
realize we've
time,
already
and they've
built
gone
ourselves
quantum
an-
encryption. Amazing. Okay. Research has delivered where the councillors have not. Quantum encryption is Councillor 6. This is important. I've already picked arrival security. I'm going to go to 2 pips on this one, see if we can seize this slot. Go for both of those. But then we need to do that because at least a majority needs to be allocated to the bottom at any given time is my current rule. And then we actually have some freedom. We have a little bit of luxury now in that we're going after the 2 critical techs that we really, really needed. Energy generation is way behind. Like, we need high temperature superconductors for just about everything. Another way to go would be, what, advanced fission systems, gas core fission reactors. I need to decide on a energy generation alternative soon. Diamondoids are necessary for everything. And what does our space future need? Our space future needs arrival economics. That's an easy pickup. Arrival economics, done. But we'll deprioritize it down to 0 in order to keep the balance right. Alright, so we brought in the externals, and as you can read, all we found out so far is that our members are more likely to watch anime, pay their taxes on time, which I guess you don't want to fight the IRS if you're engaged in whatever it is we're engaged in, but that surprises me. And react to new situations with violence. So, the leak compromises our operations once again. No success yet. And it turns out we have a team exploring Olympus Mons from our base at Olympus Mons. This is the tallest mountain on Mars, tallest mountain in the solar system, one of the largest volcanoes. It is so large that an observer standing on the peak would be unable to tell that they were on a tall mountain, as the gentle downward slope extends well beyond the horizon. So we can do a quick survey for 500 science, or we can pay 1,000. That is a lot of money and boost. It's not worth it, but you know what? Just to flex, there we go. Energy Research Center. I'm just cutting through these T2 research locations as fast as possible, and once I've planted the upgrades, I'll show you what the new system is starting to look like. You know what? Never change, Hans. Never change. And for reasons that will probably become clear next episode, that's where I'm going to cut it. We made a lot of progress this episode, which will become apparent, and I'll recap a little bit next time. There will be another Terra Invicta post, I hope relatively soon, and then probably a short segment of Rogue Trader, either after Terra Invicta episode 4 or 5. I just try to do recording segments. I record multiple episodes in one segment generally, which is why they tend to come out in a row, and then a row, and intermingled. So thank you for the great reception that Terra Invicta is having. Rotator crew, hang in there. I'll be back relatively shortly. Hope you're all enjoying, and I'll see you again soon.